I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Or am I just getting through my day? All right, guys, welcome to Are You Just Getting Through the Day? Am I living like a stable life? My bills are paid. My investments are generating income. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. Yet, I still feel this unfulfillment, this dissatisfaction, irritation. Let's get into it, yo, because that's what I'm all about. That didn't work. So I have here the emotional guidance tale. We're going about how you're just going through the day to get through the day, right? It's not actually something you really want. What you want is someday, and someday doesn't have a date on it. Isn't that convenient? Yeah, no, not for me. We have here what we all want: joy, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, right? This is not just don't lose ground. That's not what this is. When we're happy with our life, are we just happy in a like I'm trying sense, or are we actually satisfied? And if somebody was like, are you where you want to be, where we could be like, yeah, this is where I want to be, and here's where I want to go, and I'm hopeful and optimistic that I'm going to get there, and I'm realistic about what is happening in some instances, yet this isn't taking me down to where I feel like my emotions are victim or powerless. I still feel like I'm in control and that I'm in charge of my life. Like an upward spiral and a downward spiral. And survival mode sounds like we're way down here, when really we're not. We could go up and down the scale. Like, for example, down here somewhere is overwhelmed, right here. I'm like kind of up here a lot, and then I'm also just constantly overwhelmed, or a lot of times. So, and then also it goes down. So I'll just go through them real quick. We have passion, and then enthusiasm, positive expectations and beliefs, optimism, hopefulness, and then we start to get to like the middle ground, right? This is where a lot of us just live day to day, and we're like, oh, I'm okay. Content. Boredom is huge. Like, isn't this half of what we're selling to or being sold by is just boredom? Pessimism. Yeah. Pessimism ain't my thing. If it's your thing, that's you. Frustration, impatience, overwhelmed, and disappointment. If you're feeling disappointed, you're not feeling joy. In that moment, you're kind of down here. This is actually survival mode here. And then here is where we start to get down in the dumps a little bit with disappointment, doubt, worry. And then we start to get into some real negative emotions. And the negative emotions, these are the ones that'll tend to spiral you down. So we have blame, discouragement, anger, and now we get pretty bad, revenge, and hatred and rage. If you're feeling hatred and rage, are you really feeling joy? Maybe, probably not. Jealousy, big one, because you're jealous, because you aren't living the life that you want to live, and so you're down here sitting in jealousy. That's not good. That's not a good place to be. We got to get out of down here if we're in here as fast as we can. Insecurity, unworthy. Now, this is some touchy stuff. Down in the bottom here, this is the bottom two. This is the bottom. Insecurity, unworthy, and then below that we have fear, grief, victim, and powerlessness. Now, a lot of people live a life of powerlessness, and they feel like maybe they're even unworthy of power. You know, they're like, oh, I'm supposed to be powerless because I'm unworthy of power. We want you to have power. We want you to have power so you can move out of this, feel worthy, start to feel secure, stop being jealous of people with power and agency who can make their own decisions. Stop trying to get back at all those people that are frustrating at us or pissing us off. And then we start to get through the anger, and now we're starting to be less angry, but we're still a little discouraged. And then we stop blaming people, but we're still doubtful that we're going to get anywhere, right? And we have worry. We're disappointed in ourselves. And then we get to right here in the middle, and we feel pretty damn good. You know, we're content. We're a little bored. Just got a little bit of pessimism, maybe some frustration, but this is not far from where you want to go. Survival mode makes it seem like we're down here. We're really right here. The emotional distance is distorting your image of how far you are from living a life of pure and utter joy and fulfillment. Obviously, it goes up and down, but I'm trying to communicate where we want to go. We want to be generally up here. So don't worry, there's more. It gets better, right? Gotta get better. Let's check out some patterns of these. There's a few that stick out. So this is like the whole scale done more simply with less words, which I love. We have joyful, empowered, and these things play into it. That's why it's kind of like an upward spiral. So if you have joyful and you're feeling empowered, you have agency, you're excited with where you're going, what you're doing, you have enthusiasm, literally a word I use. You have optimism going on. Optimism plays into this. You're optimistic about the future, about your life. The thing that you want someday has a date on it. You have, next year I want to be in this certain place, and if not, maybe the next year after that, I could be in this place. So like no longer than 2 years, I want to be at a certain place. You can have a date to your someday when you start to feel empowered to do so. We have passion. When you're doing your passion, then that helps fill into your empoweredness and your joy because you feel like you're doing what you're meant to be doing. If you don't feel like you're doing what you're meant to be doing, you might not have passion with it unless it's like a hobby, which is dope. If you have a hobby and you're stoked and you have passion for your hobby and you feel empowered to do your regular job that you're not so happy about, yet still do your hobby, hell yeah. Like, this doesn't have to be your career. This is about your life. In the second mountain, it's the second mountain that has to do with community and giving back to the people. And you're hopeful. You're hopeful of a better day tomorrow. I mean, typically. But then we come down here. This is more survival mode. This is content. This is where a lot of us live. And this is what I'm attacking, is this state right here. These are all people that are capable of getting up here. And up here, we could show other people how to move up in their life of happiness and joy and fulfillment. And yet also we can have more power. We can have more agency, and with power and agency, we pull a little slice of power and agency away from these elites that have so much. And we want that. We want a strong community. So these play into each other down here too in content. We have boredom is content, right? Impatient kind of plays into content. You're like, I'm content, but I'm kind of impatient about tomorrow because I want to, do these 3 cool things that I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm a little overwhelmed. And I'm a little disappointed of where I'm at today and maybe where I am going tomorrow. Maybe I'm impatient to get through the day. This is just an example. Yet we start to see it as we maybe come down from this a little bit of doubt that we're ever going to get to this part of life that we want to get to. Where we want to get to doesn't seem feasible. And then we're worried about that. So that starts to draw us downwards into this spiral. And then there's this line that I draw between worry and angry because it happens quick, right? But we're not living the life that we want. We want to be up here. We want to be in this pulled up upward spiral financially, in joy, and those are my 2 buckets, finances and joy. Like, okay. And we cross down and we start to get angry about it. Now, when we start to get angry, our minds tend to fulfill this role of why am I angry? Let me just rationalize this so that I can feel correct about being angry. And then we start blaming people, right? Because it's not our fault. And we start getting discouraged. Now we're headed down. We are headed down. We get jealous of the people that are freaking doing the things that we want to do, that are living a life of joy and happiness. And we start to get insecure in our ability to have a similar life. And we feel powerless, and we may actually believe that we're a victim, which is a touchy one. People who are down in victim love to blow up the victim thing and give you a million reasons of why they're a victim, because they need to believe it. They need to believe it's true. And if you're being a victim, if you are a victim, you need to get out of that situation. I know this is touchy, and there's a lot of things that you could say. Go ahead and say it in the comments, and we could dive into it. My goal is going to be getting you up here and not soaking down here, okay? When we vent and we say all these things that we believe to be true, it's like we're concreting it in. Let's also vent in the capabilities that we have with our life, okay? It's not just about losing your ground. It's about knowing how you feel, knowing how you want to feel, and coming up with a way to actually get you there and breaking out of the safe level that we live in, the safe yet lower level. We're completely capable of moving up in our life. And I just do not want to see you live in that space down there. I mean, it's cool that you got up from the lower level. It's just time to excel. If you don't know how you're feeling, I did create some apps. It's on my Skool page. I use Skool not as like this giant engagement platform. I use it to hold my tools and my long form content and links to like YouTube and all that stuff. So in there is 2 apps. There's the Feelings Mapper. If you have some simple thoughts of how you're feeling, you're not sure how you're feeling, you could use my Feelings Mapper app and just, it doesn't even have a sign in or anything. You click on it and you just tell it a few prompts of how you feel. And yes, it's powered by AI. And then it'll give you a bunch more words that actually more probably better describe how you feel and actually gives you an explanation based off of the information that you entered into it as to why you feel this way. And it kind of describes what that word means for you. And it has like a cool bubble chart with the same emotional guidance chart. And then I do have another app called Flourish. Flourish is more of a weekly check-in, and I can show you how this works. I like it because it is a check-in that you talk to it about. It gives you like about 13, 14 questions that I curated to hit kind of deep. And it's also could bring you up a bit. It's meant to be, shine some light on the positive things as well. And through this check-in, you can see where you are week to week. It'll give you a reminder to check in. And you can start seeing how you're ebbing and flowing through your joy and fulfillment in your life, not based off of finance and everything like that. And one thing that I really like is as you start to build in your capabilities, your agency, your excitement, your enthusiasm, and your joy, and hopefully some love in there, right? Then your finances tend to go with it a bit. And if they don't, you're probably super excited for where you are and able to at least maintain a certain area while you go and get your joy. What we don't want is you financially here and joy here. We're not even talking about down here. And what we also don't want is you financially up here and joy down here. I would rather have you financially just stable or even a little unstable and have your joy way up here than to have it the other way around. Because joy is why we're here on this earth. And joy actually mentally builds us so that we can continue doing these things that make us happy. And we start to integrate that more and more into our lives. If you're interested in this, join my Skool community. There's some good thought-provoking posts in there that you can respond to and we could talk about, and there's a few people in there that they could talk with you about this. It's a little slow right now, so I'd be stoked to see you guys in there. And then twice a week we check in. We have the start of the week check-in on Monday at like 5 p.m. and then the end of the week check-in at around on Friday at 5 p.m. And I'm trying to do those every week as much as I can. And so those will be posted, and it has a little timer countdown at the top of my Skool community, which is called Pathmakers, because you are a pathmaker and you're carving your path through to your greatness. Yeah, I don't believe in firm rules. I don't believe that I have all the knowledge to get you where you want to go, although I have curated a lot of intel that kind of could provide some bumper rails to help get you somewhere up your path. So you choose what you want to integrate into your life. Join me on Skool and the Pathmakers community. And thanks for being here on Helpful Guidelines.